During the recently concluded 2021 NBA Draft Lottery, the OKC Thunder had a 52.5% chance of landing a top 5 selection, while also having a 21.6% chance of landing 2 top 5 picks, which of course was the best case scenario. But as we know, you can have the best odds in the world, but at the end of the day, it's still a draft lottery. And the ping pong balls have ultimately decided that OKC had to settle with the 6th pick in the 2021 draft. Well, I know a lot of Thunder fans are disappointed with this outcome after expecting a shot at a top 5 pick, but looking at recent drafts and evaluating how deep this 2021 draft class is supposed to be, is landing the number 6 pick really as bad as it sounds? Well, OKC will also have the 16th and 18th overall picks together with 3 other second rounders, and for sure, owning 10% of all the picks in this year's draft puts the Thunder in a relatively much better position than any team out there, despite missing out on a top 5 pick. Well, definitely, the option to trade up will always be there because no question, potentially landing either one of Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, or Jalen Green would arguably speed up the team's winning timeline. But the question is that really a part of general manager Sam Presti's draft plan at this point? Or better yet, would a team or two in the top 5 realistically be willing to give up their chance at selecting a potential top 5 talent in what is believed to be a very top-heavy draft class? So what's good guys, it's Real Balls here, and today I'm gonna lay down my own perspective on some potential picks and some other options that could be available for the Thunder in the 2021 NBA Draft. But before we move on, as always, if you do enjoy content like this, please make sure to hit that like button as it helps the channel's content reach more people. It only takes a second of your time, but it would be much appreciated. So let's get to it. Realistically speaking, the odds tell us that there's always a decent chance for a team to find some franchise-altering talent even outside the top 5 or even the top 10 of any draft. Well, I mean, Kawhi Leonard and Giannis Antetokounmpo weren't even lottery selections, Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell were 13th overall picks, Steph Curry was drafted at number 7, and Damian Lillard himself was selected 6th overall. And if you're betting on any team to find some hidden gems in what is projected to be a stacked draft class, might as well be OKC given the team's track record in terms of evaluating talent. Well, trading up somewhere within the top 5 is definitely possible considering that OKC owns an unprecedented number of draft picks over the next 7 years as well as some young, high upside players in the team's roster. But realistically, would rebuilding teams like Detroit or Houston, who appear to lack a clear-cut franchise superstar at this point, really be willing to give up the chance of drafting either one of Cade Cunningham or Evan Mobley or Jalen Green or Jalen Suggs? Well, realistically, I think the percentage of those teams trading their picks for whatever compensation available is close to 0 at this point. And while yeah, there are rumors about the Cavs aggressively shopping the 3rd overall pick in exchange for talent, but aiming for that would still definitely require OKC to package the 6th overall pick together with maybe a couple of future first rounders plus a young player or two. While given how creative Presti is in terms of orchestrating trades, I totally won't be surprised if he's able to pull off some kind of move, probably landing a deal with either Cleveland, Toronto, or Orlando. But I think the real question is, does Presti really believe that there's much of a substantial gap or disparity in talent between the 3rd or 4th overall pick all the way to the 6th overall pick for him to give up some of OKC's accumulated assets? Or at least, does he really think that this is exactly the right time to give up some of those? Well, personally, I believe that a more realistic thing to do is to try and package the 16th and 18th overall picks for a top 10 pick. Well, I mean, landing 2 hypothetical top 10 picks would still definitely increase OKC's chances of landing some home run players even without a top 5 selection. And again, this draft is said to be one of the most top-heavy drafts in recent years, which means drafting 2 guys in the top 10 this year would be kinda equal to drafting 2 guys in the top 5 of another draft. But assuming that OKC stays put with their draft position and assuming that all the consensus top picks really end up getting drafted in the top 5, then who could realistically be the Thunder's options? Well, a lot of recent mock drafts have OKC landing Florida wing Scottie Barnes with the 6th overall selection, and I must say that I think Barnes is really going to be a solid pick for OKC if this happens. Well, honestly, I even have Barnes higher than Jonathan Kuminga on my draft board for a lot of reasons, and I think even at number 6, Barnes is still one of the most underrated wing prospects in this draft class. Well, this guy is 6'9" with an almost 7'3" wingspan who brings high impact defensive intensity, great athletic upside, and flashes of excellent playmaking for his size. While Barnes isn't much of a versatile scoring wing at this point as most of his points come at the rim, but still, just the way he gets his buckets look very promising from an offensive projection standpoint. I mean, if you watch his film, you'll see that he's an incredible open floor athlete who's very hard to stop when he's running full steam because of his quick feet and his ability to use space very well. Barnes has the ability to go coast to coast using his agility and tight ball handling skills to either score in transition or to create plays for his teammates. Overall, he's a very good playmaker for his size, both in the half court and in transition, as he averaged 4.1 assists per game during the college season. While as a scorer, he's no jump shooter at this point, and when he finds his way to the rim, he doesn't necessarily break down his defenders either. And instead, he loves to use a straight line dribble together with some hesitation moves as he drives to the rim, and that, combined with his huge frame and long strides, enabled him to effectively finish on downhill drives as he shot 62% at the rim in college. So just imagine what this guy can do in the NBA, where there will most definitely be much more space for him to operate. I mean, this guy will feast on driving lanes all day. And surprisingly, for a player who's considered to be terrible on offense, his numbers are actually good. While he only averaged 10.3 points coming off the bench in Florida, but the 23.8 points per 100 possessions that he put up are very similar to that of other projected lottery picks, which means that he's not that bad on offense as most people make him look like. While for sure, the scoring upside and the elite physical tools are already there for Barnes, but I think his defense is still definitely the most appealing part of his skill set, and that's the reason why he can immediately make an impact for a team like OKC. Well, in my opinion, Barnes is one of the best multi-positional defenders and most switchable wing players in this draft next to Cade Cunningham. This guy is projected to be able to guard positions 1 to 4 or even small ball 5s at the NBA level. I mean, how often do you see a 6'9" wing who regularly defends opposing teams' point guards as his main assignment and not only on switches? Well, yeah, he actually did that in college. And overall, guards, wings, and bigs shot a combined 32.7% when guarded by him. And further, his defensive instincts and 7'2" wingspan also allows him to get deflections on passing lanes, as he averaged 1.5 steals per game during the college season, which shows that he's just so valuable on that end of the floor both on and off the ball. So just imagine him and Lu Dort playing defense in the perimeter simultaneously, or imagine how his switchability and strength would complement Aleksej Pokusevski's timing as a help defender. But still, the problem is he isn't a shooter at this point. He only shot 27.5% from 3 on 1.7 attempts per game, but I mean, he did show flashes of shooting promise when he drained some 3-pointers in rhythm, especially in transition, which if he does more consistently would definitely fit well with the 5-out kind of offense that Mark Daigneault loves to run in OKC. Overall, I see Scottie Barnes as a higher upside OG Anunoby or even a bigger, more relentless version of Bruce Brown. But depending on how much his shooting improves, I think he definitely has an all-star player type of upside, considering that he already has top-notch physical tools, elite defensive ability, and an advanced feel for the game. But for all we know, OKC may have their eyes set on another wing in the draft. Maybe Presti would love Keon Johnson's insane athletic upside or the intriguing 3-and-D potential of Davion Mitchell. But personally, if OKC has the chance, I'd like them to go after 18-year-old Turkish big man Alperen Sengun, who recently won the Turkish League MVP award. Well, I think this guy is a very underrated big man prospect in this draft, who I think is the next best big man available after Evan Mobley. And I think it wouldn't be a stretch for OKC to draft him even with the 6th overall. Well, for one, I think drafting a big man makes too much sense for the Thunder at this point, considering that, barring any free agent signings, the team doesn't have a center in the roster right now. And yeah, I definitely agree that Presti should draft based on talent and not necessarily on fit, but even with that, I think this guy is a top 7 talent in this draft. I mean, Sengun is a big man who dominated the 2nd best domestic league in Europe next to the Spanish league at 18 years of age. He ranked 3rd in scoring, 14 rebounding, and 2nd in blocks in that league for the 2021 season while playing against grown men in a professional environment, which probably gives us a hint of how good this guy can become once he gets older. Well, Sengun is a 6'10" big man who can just straight up initiate the offense by bringing the ball down court all by himself, coming fresh off a rebound, plus he can do a lot more. Overall, he projects to be a quick rim running big who has a great scoring and playmaking package which should fit the modern NBA really well. And I mean, watching this guy finish at the rim is just a lot of fun because he really throws himself hard towards defenders around the basket, whether as a lob threat or even coming off the bounce, which he does quite easily because of his elite verticality and ability to explode in space. Well, right now, the most appealing part of Sengun's game is definitely his offensive package. Watching his film, you'll see that he already has an advanced post-up game for an 18-year-old. He has great footwork and the advanced ability to use spins, fakes, and pivots, which helps him dance around his defender on the paint. And when he was on beyond the post, he also displayed shades of some Nikola Jokic type playmaking as he was able to execute a variety of dimes, which includes long cross-court passes, some clean behind the back dimes, and even some passes from advanced angles which not a lot of big men are able to make. And Sengun can also create his own offense from the top of the key. He uses his decent dribble and drive package together with his relatively quick footwork, allowing him to finish at the rim despite constant pressure from defenses. And he'll definitely fit in the modern NBA because he's also a great pick and roll big man. I mean, he has already developed the ability to finish using high level rolls to the basket using a combination of his great timing, good hands, and his ability to move around space. Well, despite Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ranking 4th in terms of points scored as a pick and roll ball handler in the NBA last season, OKC as a team only ranked 28th in roll man scoring at 1.04 points per possession. And so, Sengun's pick and roll proficiency will definitely help OKC generate easier offensive possessions considering that each one of SGA, Maledon, and even Pokusevski have all been exposed to initiating plays off the pick and roll last season. Overall, I think Sengun will look like a more explosive and more athletic Domantas Sabonis in his prime, which I think is a pretty good ceiling. But the downside is, he still can't be considered a floor spacer. He only shot 19% from 3 in the Turkish league, but part of it is because he only attempted less than 1 3-pointer a game. But I mean, if you look at his stroke, it doesn't look bad at all, and so with more reps at the NBA level, it's not hard to imagine him shooting in the mid-30s in a few years. But on the defensive end, this guy is already a great vertical defender who averaged 1.7 blocks per game. He already knows how to be effective in drop coverages, as he's usually able to force ball handlers into difficult angles when they're trying to shoot. But I think the question is, can he be an effective defender on switches once he plays in the NBA's much quicker pace, considering that he doesn't have much lateral speed at this point? But we've seen big men with average measurements but advanced feel for the game like Marc Gasol or Kevin Love hold their own on the defensive end in the NBA over time. And so if Sengun just develops to be a consistent switchable big man on the perimeter to the point that his team doesn't have to worry about him getting run off the floor, especially in a playoff series, then I think his overall upside as a player is going to be worth the gamble for the Thunder. But I mean, there are still tons of big man options that OKC can choose from. There are elite rim running bigs like Kai Jones or Usman Garuba, or great defensive anchors like Isaiah Jackson, which Sam Presti might actually prefer. But at the end of the day, whatever type of player OKC tries to go after in this draft, and whether Sam Presti tries to trade up or not, the Thunder just have a lot of options not just for this year's draft but for the future in general, which means missing out on the top 5 this 2021 might not even be as bad as it looks for OKC. So what do you guys think OKC should try to do in this year's draft? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, this is Real Balls, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.